In the classroom, you need a lot of patience, a lot of patience. A lot of patience is required to, you know, I mean, these students are just different. Konnichiwa, Andoria des. If you're coming for the first time, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Don't forget to hit the subscription button. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Alright? Arigatou gozaimasu. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my teaching experience here in Japan. What is it like teaching English in Japan? The views expressed in this video are based solely on my experiences. I have not taught at all schools in Japan, and I will not talk about what I don't have any experience on. Alright? So far, I've taught at 9 schools because each year I change schools. I don't go to the same schools every year, which is good because let's say, for example, this year I have a school that I'm not really into, then next year I get to change schools. So it's good and I like it. So this year I'm going to 2 schools. One school is my main school and the other school, is my go-to school. So the main school I go to 3 times per week. The other school I go to twice per week, obviously. Schedule is the order of the day. Everything is done by schedule. You must hear me say this a million times. Everything is done by schedule. So it means come February, we're not gonna have no pop-up jeans day, and we're not gonna have no pop-up funny hat day, nor pop-up socks day, because it's not a part of the handbook. The students do not take a break to school. They do not take money to school, and they do not take snack to school. The students get 25 minutes break. In addition to that, they also get 5 minutes break after each class. This 5 minutes they use to go to the bathroom and to drink their water. The 25 minutes break is used for playtime, so no one has any snack that they eat at school. From the time they eat breakfast, they eat nothing else until it is lunchtime. So no matter how hungry they be, they have to just bear it until lunchtime. And they're used to it. I mean, it's their culture. They're used to it. Students, elementary school students usually walk to school, especially if they go to public schools. Everybody just walk to school, whether it's raining or it is sunny. And let me tell you something. I have never seen a place with so many umbrellas. When you go to school, if there are 450 students at school, 450 students are present at school. No matter how heavily it is raining, every student is at school. And it's business as usual. A Japanese teacher is always in the class, whether it be the homeroom teacher, the principal, the vice principal, or even the secretary from the office. Someone must always be in the class with me while I teach English lessons. I don't speak Japanese, and in the event anything should happen in the class, there needs to be someone in the class who is able to say what happened. Plus, if any earthquake shake, we don't have no deliberation about who will come out of the classroom first. So, a Japanese teacher needs to be in the classroom at all times. Let's talk about lesson plans. Because we know the show can't go on without the lesson plan. But God is good, because I'm gonna write none. I don't write lesson plans. Lesson plans are given to me by the Board of Education and also the teaching materials. I get the teaching materials on soft copy on my Google Drive and also the lesson plans. So I am able to download these lesson plans, or I usually just read the lesson plan from the Google Drive. Of course, it's at school, but it's printed in Japanese. I can always download it and print it in English because I have the English versions on my Google Drive. So, what happens in the classroom? Let's talk about before I get into the classroom. Before I get into the classroom, I usually meet with the Japanese homeroom teacher. We meet because we want to discuss what will happen in the lesson, and the Japanese teacher and I usually do demonstrations for the students to get an understanding of what they're supposed to do. I cannot use Japanese in the classroom, or I shouldn't use Japanese in the classroom. This is because once the students know that you're able to speak Japanese, they will continuously talk to you in Japanese, and that's not what they want. So, in the classroom, I should refrain from speaking in Japanese, which is why I have all the demonstrations, the gestures, the pictures, and that is how we teach the lesson. Songs, games, interviews, presentations. So basically that's what they do. I teach grades 1 through to 6. So I teach all the classes. Each grade has about 3 classes. So first grade has 3 classes, second grade 3 classes, fourth grade 3 classes. And of course it depends on the size of the school. Some grades have 4, 5, 6 classes. So I usually have 6 classes per day maximum. Sometimes a little less, but usual 6 classes. These classes are for 45 minutes. The first 40 minutes of the class I use to teach the topic. 5 minutes of the class the students used to do their journal. Now in this journal, what they write is what they understand from the lesson, what they did in the lesson, and what was difficult for them to do in the lesson. When I get to school, I wait in the staff room for the students to come and get me. Usually 2 students will come from the classroom, come to the staff room, ask for Andrea Sensei, and we go to the classroom. So let me try to do a demonstration. So let's say their names are Simone Robinson and Kemisha Robinson. They will come to the staff room, knock on the door, and they will say, "Sumimasen, Gonen Ichikumi under Simone Robinson desu, Kemisha Robinson desu, Andrea Sensei imasu ka?" So I will say yes, and we go class. Now, when I get to the class, the students who came to the staff room to get me are the class leaders. So they start the class. They start the class by saying, let's say it's the 3rd session for the day. Sanjikame Ego Benkyo Hajimemasu. And the entire class will say Hajimemasu. Let's say today's class is about fruits. Once I get to the class, I have all the cards that I want to teach. The objective of this lesson is to get the students to say what fruit they like. So we sing songs, play games, do whatever we have to do. Now, I do not deal with discipline in the classroom. I'm in the classroom and the student is sleeping. Me not tap them and say them to wake up. That is the responsibility of the teacher. If I'm in the classroom and the student is disruptive, I have nothing to say to the student. That is dealt with by the Japanese teacher. Every behavior in the classroom is dealt with by the Japanese teacher. 90% of the time, that's how it goes. Of course, there have been instances where, I subtly ask students to be quiet, or I just walk towards a student and they will pick up that they're doing something wrong and they just stop. Now I get to the interviews part of the lesson where the students will interview their classmates, or I will interview the students to find out what fruit they like. Now 30 students are in the class. I've asked 15 students, and these 15 students repeat the same sentence. The only thing they change is the name of the fruit. Now I get to the 16th student and I say, hello, what fruit do you like? And this student will sit, stare at me, blank. Or they just start crying. I reach to the student, ask what fruit do you like? And the student just burst out crying. Now what do? If the student starts to cry, the Japanese teacher usually just walk toward the student and they try to get the student to say what fruit they like, or I will just go to the next student. Many students are very shy. So singling out a student to say what fruit they like, sometimes, it doesn't go well because the student is shy. So they just burst out crying or they just do not answer. Stand up 5, 10, 15, 20, 1 hour, they not answer. In the classroom, a student will not raise their hand to say they do not understand something. I once asked my Japanese friend, why is it, when the Japanese teacher is teaching in the classroom, all the students just sit and just listen. Nobody talks. 1 or 2 times you will hear some of the classes where the students are, actually talking, but other than that they just sit and the teacher teaches. I asked my Japanese friend, why is it that the students never really say they don't understand? So he tries to explain that the students, what he said is that the students usually consider the feelings of others. So stopping the teacher to say that they do not understand is inconvenient for the other students. So what they usually do is wait until after the lesson. They will say they don't understand. Well, honestly, that is not the case for me, because even after the lesson, they never say they don't understand or they don't know. You will ask a question and they don't know, and they will sit, stare at you. And instead of saying I don't know, they will just do things like, once the students start with their heads so so they don't understand. So I try to, for example, I say, I like pineapples. What fruit do you like? So that will give them a kind of hint or some kind of clue, or, just to prompt them to say something. If they don't want to say anything, there is nothing, no bribery, nothing I can do to get them to say what fruit they like. They will just sit and stare at you. You need a lot of patience, a lot of patience. A lot of patience is required to, these students are just different, and English is not their first language. They're different in the sense that they are afraid to make mistakes. They do not want to make mistakes. So because of that, students will not freely express themselves in English. After all the students have gotten the opportunity to say what fruit they like, by this time I think time is up and it's time for me to leave the classroom. So before the class finishes, we sing a goodbye song and the students will say their little Japanese sentence. So what they'll say is, Sanjikame eigo owarimasu. It means the 3rd session of English class is finished. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave your comments and share this video. Until then, see you.